He had looked upon the third step, and once a man glimpsed the truth beyond heaven and earth, the world could never again appear the same. Thunder roared, stars trembled, the void itself seemed to hold its breath. Above the shrinking thunder lake stood a figure who had brushed against eternity, an ant who had seen the face of the Dao, and now he was about to take another step. If you enjoy my way of explaining and storytelling, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really motivates me to keep creating. He himself was the Tao. Heaven and earth were woven from countless threads of Tao, and he was one of them, yet also the whole. Before him drifted innumerable spheres of light, each pulsing through the rhythm of existence, blossoming from life into death, fading from death back into life. They cycled without end, vast and solemn. This was his Tao of life and death. Within the wheel of karma, cause and effect, coiled around one another like twin serpents. Where there was an effect, there must have first been a cause, Li Muan's relentless search for answers. Wang Ping's quiet, ordinary days. Each thread bound to another, invisible yet unbreakable. This was his Tao of karma. For a fleeting instant, Wang Lin felt as though he understood something profound. Yet in the same breath, he understood nothing at all. That paradox churned within him like a rising tide. The tide swelled, wave upon wave, crashing against the shores of his consciousness, until his very mind trembled beneath its force. Then he awakened. The moment clarity returned, he felt his origin soul violently thrust outward, as though an unseen force sought to expel it from his body. When he opened his eyes, he found himself still standing outside the door. Nothing had changed. Thunder continued to roar across the void. Violet radiance still blanketed the heavens. It was as though nothing had occurred, as though everything he had witnessed was no more than a fleeting dream. Wang Lin remained before the gate, and all that had transpired seemed unreal. So unreal, and yet unbearably real. The door, which had opened only a narrow crack, slowly sealed itself before his eyes and dissolved into nothingness. The colossal arm wrapped in purple light faded away. The violet glow contracted, condensing once more into the heaven-defying bead. Yet the bead had changed. Where once the 5 elements had been engraved upon its surface, there now lay the symbols of yin and yang. Yin was embodied as a crescent moon, yang as a blazing sun. Each occupied half the bead, distinct yet perfectly balanced, locked in eternal opposition and harmony. The bead drifted forward, pressing gently against Wang Lin's forehead before sinking into the space between his brows. He remained suspended in the air, motionless. His eyes slowly closed as the scenes from before reverberated endlessly within his mind. Vaguely he sensed that something within him had shifted. Time seemed to lose meaning. He was immersed wholly in the comprehension echoing through his heart, chiseling the fragments of that unreal dream into the depths of his soul, carving them there bit by bit. Wang Lin understood that everything within that dream was immeasurably precious. It was a heavenly opportunity. He could tell no one of what he had seen. Even if he tried, he would never be able to explain it clearly. More than that, he did not dare to speak of it. He had an unshakable conviction that the All-Seer and the others would surrender everything for such a chance. Planet Tianyun, all their magical treasures, all their divine abilities. They would relinquish it all without hesitation if only they could experience such Tao-seeking once. For that glimpse would illuminate the mysterious third step, the realm tens of thousands of cultivators yearned for, struggled toward and craved with desperate hearts. Those who seek the Tao may understand it at dawn and die by dusk. Those who seek the Tao may comprehend it in the moment of death. Wang Lin still did not know the true value of the heaven-defying bead. Yet even the mere tip of the iceberg he had witnessed had shaken him to his core. It was something he would never forget. This Tao-seeking had not elevated his cultivation. Instead, it refined his Tao itself. Before, when he stood beneath that door, awe had filled his very soul. The difference in realms had been as vast as the gulf between man and ant. Though he remained far beneath the existence behind that door, still but an ant in comparison, he was now an ant who had glimpsed the third step. He had seen it. Lost in thought, Wang Lin remained suspended above the Thunder Lake. Below him, the sea of lightning seemed stirred by an unseen influence. Thunder surged outward in all directions, spreading like ripples across a boundless ocean. At that very moment, a streak of lightning cut through the distant asteroid field. Within it rode a thunder beast clad in black armor. Upon its back stood a black-haired man, his eyes sharp with vigilance, as he drove deeper into the asteroid belt. The moment he neared the region, he sensed that something was amiss. The fluctuations of thunder here were far too violent, utterly different from the last time he had come. And within that thunder lingered an indescribably powerful aura. His heart trembled. Proceeding cautiously through the asteroids, he moved with familiarity. This was a place he had frequented many times to cultivate his thunder origin spell. Yet never before had he felt such wariness. Time passed indistinctly. As he approached the center, the sense of shock grew stronger. What exactly happened here? His expression darkened. He stood at the corporeal Yang stage, only a step away from completion, after which he would step into the Nirvana Scrya realm. With such cultivation, few things in this world could unsettle him. Yet now unease tightened around his heart. After a brief hesitation, he clenched his teeth and urged the Thunder Beast forward. It broke through the final layer of asteroids, and the Thunder Lake came into view. Immediately he saw Wang Lin hovering above it. The sight froze him in place. Thunder coursed wildly through Wang Lin's body. His hair drifted without wind. He floated there like a silent axis of the heavens. But what truly made the black-haired man gasp was the lake itself. It had shrunk to half its former size. Once vast and seemingly endless, it now appeared diminished, as though drained by some unseen force. The black-haired man felt as if he had entered the wrong place entirely. His arrival was like a stone cast upon still waters, disturbing the silence. Wang Lin slowly opened his eyes. They were indescribable. Within them seemed to reside the world itself, the laws of heaven and earth, the turning of all things. It was as though those eyes could pierce through the cosmos and behold its ultimate truths. They carried the same overwhelming aura as the colossal arm behind the door. Anyone who met that gaze would feel the instinctive awe of an ant staring upon something infinitely higher. Lingering within those eyes was a trace of the unreal dream. At that moment, it was as if Wang Lin himself had become heaven and earth had become the heavenly Tao. The aura of the third step radiated faintly from him. His gaze was unfocused, tinged with lingering confusion as it casually fell upon the black-haired man. And in that instant, the black-haired man felt as though countless thunderbolts had detonated within his body. It was as if he had absorbed far more lightning than his thunder origin spell could withstand. He could not move. His world narrowed until nothing remained but those eyes. Thunder roared in his ears, yet it seemed distant, audible, but untouchable. He could not comprehend the nature of that gaze, but within it lay a power beyond his understanding. It pierced through his eyes and shook the very core of his being. His heartbeat surged to its limit, threatening to explode. Blood and origin energy raced madly through his meridians. Terror seized him. If he ceased circulating his origin energy for even a moment, he felt he would collapse beneath that gaze. What power is this? He could not move a single inch. His origin energy churned wildly, heedless of waste. Sweat drenched his body. His mouth ran dry. Yet no matter how desperately he wished to look away, he could not. In all his years of cultivation, he had never encountered such terror, not even before the Lord of the Thunder Celestial Temple. Wang Lin regarded him calmly. A faint residue of Tao-seeking remained in his eyes. Whether the figure before him was mortal or cultivator no longer mattered. Beneath that trace of comprehension, the other seemed no more than an ant. In the dream, his gaze had been the Tao itself, causing the spheres of light to traverse entire lifetimes in an instant. Now he looked upon this man with that same gaze. The man became like one of those spheres of light. Only instead of blossoming through a cycle of life, he began to dissipate, layer by layer, without pause. Terror reached its absolute peak within the black-haired man's heart. From the moment the gaze fell upon him, he felt his origin soul begin to burn. His origin energy spiraled out of control, forming an invisible flame within him. That gaze carried a terrifying authority he could not resist. It was as though the heavens themselves were commanding him. Die, die. A crushing awe engulfed him, pressing down from a higher realm of existence. Even the thunder beast beneath him suffered more intensely. It let out agonized cries as its body began to crumble at a visible rate, disintegrating like dust, returning to earth. All of this occurred within a single breath. Then, the haze in Wang Lin's eyes vanished. He inhaled deeply and closed them. The black-haired man nearly collapsed as the oppressive force receded. He was drenched in sweat. More than half his origin energy had been consumed. His origin soul had visibly shrunk. Weakness flooded his limbs. As he stared at Wang Lin, terror overwhelmed him. Too terrifying. What was that gaze? What cultivation is he at? His voice trembled. His face had gone deathly pale. Regret gnawed at him. If he had not come here, he would never have endured that horrifying glance. He did not doubt that had the gaze lingered for a few breaths more, he would have perished body and soul, obliterated, leaving not a trace behind. Not even his origin soul would have escaped. The thunder beast beneath him fared worse still. It stared at Wang Lin with unmasked horror. Thunder beasts were proud creatures. They would rather die than submit. Yet that gaze was not merely death. It was suppression from a higher order of existence, an absolute dominance that transcended life and death itself. In the black-haired man's eyes, Wang Lin's figure grew infinitely tall, so vast it seemed to prop up the heavens themselves. He was certain that within the entire all-heaven star system, no one could remain unscathed beneath that gaze, not even the Lord of the Thunder Celestial Temple. Most terrifying of all was the indifference within those eyes. It was not arrogance, not wrath, but pure disregard, as though the myriad beings of the world were no more than ants beneath the sky. That feeling made the black-haired man tremble uncontrollably. With his pride, he had never bowed his heart to anyone. When the gap in power was small, he would resist. When the gap was great, he would scheme. But when the power before him was utterly unassailable, when it surpassed anyone he had ever known, only one thought remained: submission. Dao sight. That must be the legendary Dao sight. The terror in his heart shifted, transforming into something feverish. His body still trembled, but now with awe and fanaticism. The very words stirred both reverence and dread within him. Mortals possessed dream sight. Cultivators possessed Dao sight. Yet Dao sight was nothing more than legend. Countless years ago, it was said that a figure had appeared in the all-heaven star system. With his own strength and with a single spell, he defeated all second-step cultivators across the system. Most had not even managed to unleash a single divine ability or magical treasure before they were defeated. Disappointed, that person turned to leave. One brave cultivator gathered his courage and asked the name of the spell. The reply had been simple: "This spell is called Dao Sight. It was not created by me. All of you can perform it." The black-haired man inhaled sharply. Without hesitation, he dismounted the thunder beast and stood respectfully where he was. Only now, freed from the oppression of Wang Lin's gaze, did he notice another figure seated upon a nearby asteroid. A puppet. Then his eyes shifted toward the edge of the Thunder Lake. A silver-horned thunder beast. Shock rippled through him once more. A silver-horned thunder beast. An illusory yin puppet. He is also a messenger of the Thunder Celestial Temple. He did not doubt Wang Lin's identity. What he doubted was that someone of such unfathomable power would bear the humble title of messenger. Before he could dwell on it further, Wang Lin opened his eyes once more. They were ordinary again. Earlier, it had not only been Shengong Hu who was shaken, Wang Lin himself had been startled. Was that feeling the third step? Wang Lin pondered silently. That sensation could not be sought. It could only descend by chance. His cultivation was still too shallow. He could hold the experience in his heart, but he could not fully comprehend it. The vivid reality within that unreal dream had opened a door toward the third step. If anyone in the All-Heaven or Alliance star system learned of this, They would lose all reason over the heaven-defying bead. The greatest pursuit of figures like the All-Seer was the third step. For it they would abandon everything. Yet to them that realm remained shrouded in darkness. They groped forward blindly, searching bitterly for a path that did not reveal itself. And yet through the heaven-defying bead, Wang Lin had been granted a chance beyond imagination. Sometimes fate was simply like this. Having glimpsed the Tao of the third step, Wang Lin's future achievements were no longer something anyone could predict. Junior Shengong Hu of the Shengong family in the southern domain. Level 2, Messenger of the Thunder Celestial. Temple greets Senior. Without hesitation, the black-haired man dropped to his knees in the formal posture used to greet one's master. If an outsider had witnessed this scene, they would have been utterly stunned. Shengong Hu was notoriously proud and ruthless. Even among the temple's messengers, he was difficult to approach. Few cultivation families dared to provoke him. More importantly, his talent was monstrous. Even the Lord of the Thunder Celestial Temple had once declared that Shengong Hu ranked among the top 30 talents in the entire All-Heaven star system. He had cultivated for only 1,000 years. In a mere millennium, he had reached the peak of the corporeal Yang stage. Such talent inspired more fear than his cruelty. No one could foresee his limit. Perhaps he would one day step fully into the second step. Wang Lin did not move. He looked calmly at Shengong Hu. Though his cultivation had not advanced, his soul had undergone a transformation after glimpsing the third step. His mental state had transcended its former confines. Even if he now stood before the All-Seer, he would feel no tension. It was like a mortal who had once witnessed cultivators wielding divine powers afterward. How could he fear an earthly king? Beneath Wang Lin's gaze, Shengong Hu still trembled. The earlier terror had carved itself into his soul. It would not fade even in death. In truth, this was a tremendous opportunity for him. If the All-Seer and the others could not seize the bead itself, they would choose without hesitation to experience that gaze personally. Even the Thunder Beast lowered its head, its innate pride extinguished. Wang Lin withdrew his gaze and asked calmly, "What is it?" His tone still carried the distant echo of that unreal dream. Shengong Hu's cultivation was high, but his mind had been shaken to its core. With his heart filled with timidity, he could barely display the strength of an illusory yin cultivator. As for the Thunder Beast, it did not dare lift its head. Wang Lin's casual question stunned him. He quickly said, "Junior." Before he could finish, Wang Lin waved his sleeve lightly. "If there is nothing, then leave." He intended to carefully examine the transformation of the heaven-defying bead. Its power had far surpassed his imagination. Merely opening a crack in that door had allowed him to glimpse the third step. If he were to open it fully, his heart pounded. He dared not imagine the consequences. Moreover, that dream had refined his domain. He was not far from the peak of late-stage ascendant, the final boundary of the first step. Shengong Hu interpreted Wang Lin's indifference as natural. A true powerhouse should be like this. After all, he was the one who had disturbed Senior's cultivation. That he had not been killed was already mercy. Recalling that terrifying gaze, he had no doubt had this Senior wished it, he would already be dust. Fear had transformed into devotion. Taking a deep breath, he spoke with absolute sincerity. "Senior Junior begs to pledge allegiance." He continued quickly, "Junior's cultivation is insufficient. I know I am not worthy to follow Senior. However, Junior is sincere. I command many subordinate families and can satisfy any of Senior's needs. Though such matters are trivial in Senior's eyes, I ask only that you consider my loyalty." "Pledge?" Wang Lin's brows lifted slightly. Shengong Hu hurriedly explained, "Junior only asks that when I attempt my breakthrough in the future, Senior grant me a few pointers. In exchange, Junior is willing to surrender a portion of my Tao soul and serve Senior for 1,000 years. As he spoke, he formed a seal and pressed a finger to his forehead. A strand of black radiance emerged containing his domain and Tao. In the All-Heaven star system, those who pledged allegiance could choose what to surrender. The Tao soul was the most precious offering. Once controlled by another, though not equivalent to death, It would forever influence one's Tao heart. The consequences ran deep and long. By offering his Tao soul, Shengong Hu demonstrated absolute sincerity. He truly feared losing this opportunity. A faint instinct told him that if he retreated today, he would regret it for the rest of his life. He trusted that instinct. Many pivotal decisions in his life had been made based on such feelings, and this one burned stronger than ever. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed as he regarded the drifting fragment of Tao soul. Though unfamiliar with the exact ritual, he understood its meaning. After a long silence, he asked quietly, "You will not regret this." Shengong Hu immediately bowed lower. "Junior will never regret it." Wang Lin wasted no more words. With a wave of his hand, the Tao soul fragment flew toward him. He absorbed it. It merged into his origin soul, like a drop of ink dissolving into water. Only then did he ask calmly, "Why did you come here?" Shengong Hu gave a bitter smile. "The Thunder Celestial Realm is about to open. Junior wished to borrow this place to cultivate additional origin energy." Wang Lin's expression remained placid as he sensed Shengong Hu's Tao soul within himself. The man's domain bore some resemblance to Ling Tianhu's sharp, thunderous, resolute, yet there were subtle differences, faint divergences shaped by distinct paths walked and storms endured. Still, without knowing Shengong Hu's life in full, Wang Lin could not grasp its complete design. "How long until the Thunder Celestial Realm opens?" Wang Lin asked calmly, his eyelids lowering slightly. 10 years remain, Shengong Hu replied with utmost respect. "When the time comes, one may enter through the Thunder Furnace." Wang Lin pondered this. He was deeply interested in the Thunder Celestial Realm. When he had entered the Rain Celestial Realm in the past, he had been unable to absorb celestial jade. Now, however, his situation was entirely different. A journey into the Thunder Celestial Realm would likely allow his cultivation to reach true completion. The Celestial Realm is shattered. Wang Lin continued, his gaze sharpening. What restrictions govern entry? Shengong Hu hesitated, briefly piecing together implications from Wang Lin's tone. Before he could speculate further, Wang Lin said evenly, "This old man is not from the All-Heaven star system." The stray thoughts in Shengong Hu's mind vanished instantly. Indeed, only such an origin would explain this senior's unfathomable presence. Senior Shengong Hu answered quickly, "Our Thunder Celestial Realm is not severely damaged. The restriction is late-stage ascendant. However, the Thunder Celestial Palace possesses a method that allows second-step cultivators to enter, provided they do not unleash power beyond the early Nirvana Scrya stage." Wang Lin nodded and inquired further. From what he learned, the Thunder Celestial Realm resembled the Rain Celestial Realm. In ancient times, both had served as passages into the true Celestial Realm. When he had gathered enough information, Wang Lin glanced at Shengong Hu. "Very well, you may remain here to cultivate. Do not disturb this old man." Shengong Hu bowed repeatedly. He had come seeking cultivation, but after his severe injuries and drop in strength, finding another suitable location within 10 years would be difficult. Simply healing would consume much of that time. By the time he recovered fully, the Thunder Celestial Realm might already be opening. That this senior allowed him to stay filled his heart with gratitude. Under normal circumstances, Shengong Hu would not have felt such emotion, but his spirit had already submitted. The memory of that gaze had broken something inside him. Wang Lin withdrew his attention and walked toward the depths of the Thunder Lake. At first, Shengong Hu did not notice, but soon his breath caught. This was truly someone of higher cultivation. The thunder here was anything but ordinary. With his own strength, he could venture only 50 steps before being forced back. Yet Wang Lin walked calmly, one step, then another. 100 steps into the lake. Only then did he sit. Shengong Hu inhaled deeply, reverence blazing in his eyes. Injured as he was, he managed barely 10 steps before stopping, hastily sitting down to circulate the Thunder Origin spell. His Thunder Beast crept cautiously forward, stealing fearful glances at Wang Lin. As a spirit beast, its instincts were sharper. That earlier gaze had nearly shattered its will. It had felt as though it were dissolving back into its primordial essence. Even now terror lingered in its heart. Just as it lowered itself to cultivate, a distant roar echoed. Wang Lin's silver-horned thunder beast strode over leisurely. As it passed Shengong Hu's beast, it cast a vicious sideways glance. The armored thunder beast retreated immediately, pride utterly crushed. Had it not been so close to sprouting its own horn, it might have resisted. But now it dared not. The silver-horned beast snorted, smugly sauntered 10 steps into the lake, and lay down contentedly, absorbing thunder with ease. In the distance, the celestial guard puppet sat upon an asteroid, its eyes flickering faintly as it occasionally glanced toward Shengong Hu. 100 steps was Wang Lin's current limit. That he could reach this depth was due solely to his glimpse of the third step, which had transformed the very nature of his soul. As he gazed upon the thunder, he sensed faint, mysterious changes similar to what he had perceived when wielding the heavenly chop. Seated there, he began absorbing thunder. The thunder origin spell drew strands of lightning into his body, refining them, extracting slivers of origin energy to nourish his origin soul. A faint warmth spread through him. When Wang Lin had ascended, using Zhou Yi's ascendant crystal, he had possessed more origin energy than most cultivators at his level. His path had been smooth. Yet the heavenly chop and his battle with the Thunder Taoist had consumed too much origin energy, pushing him to the brink of regression. For first step cultivators, origin energy was exceedingly difficult to recover. Had he not possessed a Thunder origin soul, he would have regretted it for life. Now, as slivers of origin energy returned, his origin soul slowly began to mend. The process was agonizingly slow. Wang Lin formed a seal. Thunder rippled violently outward. In an instant, 10 times the usual amount of lightning surged toward him. Even he felt numbness invade his limbs. He inhaled sharply and refined it. Explosions crackled through the lake, awakening Shengong Hu. When he opened his eyes and saw the torrent of thunder engulfing Wang Lin, his pupils contracted. As expected of senior, he murmured in awe. At 100 steps, he dares to draw such thunder into his body. If it were me, my flesh would shatter, and even my origin soul would suffer damage. Excitement filled his eyes. It seems I must strive harder. He too drew more thunder inward. His body trembled as he endured the strain. Meanwhile, Wang Lin continued absorbing tenfold thunder. His origin energy recovered more quickly, but full restoration remained distant. Each strand of thunder yielded only a trace of origin energy. Once refined, even less remained for true replenishment. Time flowed. 2 years passed in the blink of an eye. Throughout those 2 years, Wang Lin scarcely moved. Yet the thunder he absorbed increased from tenfold to 20-fold. He resembled a divine magnet, cast into the thunder lake, drawing lightning into himself without end. Shengong Hu labored diligently as well. His injuries gradually healed. Observing him, Wang Lin noted something subtle. Though both cultivated the thunder origin spell, their efficiencies differed vastly. From each strand of thunder, Wang Lin could extract but a trace, while Shengong Hu extracted 10 times more. Gradually, Wang Lin discerned the reason. It depended on the foundation of one's origin energy. The greater one's reserves, the more origin energy one could extract and refine. This principle explained the terrifying disparity between levels in the second step. During these 2 years, Wang Lin repeatedly contemplated the fragments of insight he had gleaned from the third step, engraving them deeper into his heart. He harvested small understandings, subtle yet precious. On this day he rose. With each step he took toward the center of the Thunder Lake, sharp, crackling sounds filled the air. The movement startled Shengong Hu. He opened his eyes, excitement and anticipation gleaming brighter than ever. Wang Lin ignored him and gazed toward the distant center. The Thunder Lake remained immense even after shrinking by half. At present, Wang Lin stood merely at its periphery. The closer one approached the center, the denser and purer the thunder, and with it origin energy. Indeed, the origin energy contained in a single strand at the center surpassed that of 100 strands at the edge. After a moment of contemplation, Wang Lin stepped forward. His heart was tranquil, though tinged with caution. Not far away, Shengong Hu nearly trembled with excitement. At last, I will witness one of Senior's spells. For him, this was an opportunity rarer than his breakthrough into illusory yin, no far greater. He had waited 2 years for this moment. Without hesitation, he dispersed the thunder surrounding him, focusing entirely on Wang Lin's every movement, determined to engrave the scene into memory. Even the armored thunder beast raised its head, awe flickering in its eyes, alongside a trace of expectation. Only the silver-horned thunder beast rolled its eyes lazily. It did not even bother looking. It simply lay there drowsy and content, absorbing thunder as though nothing extraordinary were about to unfold.